Hi, I am Verdaillia Turner, and this is Let's Talk. And today we're going to take you further inside of our schools by speaking with two well-seasoned and caring teachers. We call them teachers because they are the first people our children see in the mornings on their way to school, and they are the last people our children see in the evenings. They are yellow school bus drivers, and they're going to tell you what it's like to be a school bus driver, so we will understand even more. We know we can't function without them. So I bring you Mrs. Earnell Wynn, bus driver for Dekalb County, and Mr. Craig Cooley. Today is his birthday, y'all. I know y'all won't know what date this is when we send it out. And Mr. Craig Cooley drives for our largest school district, Gwinnett County. And hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm going to just start out first by asking you, Mr. Cooley, about your day. Tell us, when do you start? How many schools you service? What the day is like? When do you end? Just bring us into your life.
Well, my day starts early. It starts at 6:15. My day used to start earlier than that, but now I got it down to 6:15 in the morning, where you have to pre-trip and post-trip your bus in the morning before you pick up any of your students. Make sure everything's running right and correctly, so you don't have a code one or anything. So we check that.
What's a code one?
Code one is when your bus have a problem, break down.
Okay.
It could be anything in there. The engine won't stop, a light is out, anything.
So you were checking all of that in the morning?
We're checking all that. As we walk to our bus, we are pre-tripping our bus as we walking towards the bus. We are looking at that bus from the outside and underneath, and then we go inside. Mm-hmm. And then we open up the engine, we check out the engine, our oil, transmission fluid, everything that we need to check out there, make sure everything's up to par right there, and we pray that our bus will start after we get done with that. Check our 8 ways, our hazard lights, high beams, everything.
So you assigned a particular bus?
Yes, I am.
Suppose your bus does not work that morning.
If my bus is not working that morning, I get on the dispatcher and I will call them. I have a code one, dispatch, I tell my bus number, and then they reply back to me.
And the children are still waiting on you, though?
The children are still waiting for me, yes indeed.
Okay, so now, Earnell, I'm just going to call you all by your first names. So Earnell, about what time your day starts?
Well, I arrive early. It's about 6 o'clock.
What time do you get up in the morning?
4 o'clock.
Okay,
4 o'clock
prepare.
Preparing, trying to get ready for my kids. Because if I don't, like you said, we went through the I go through the pre-trip. Now, pre-trip usually comes in when I go into the bus and I look and I see, make sure that there's no one there.
Okay.
That nothing has broken in, because I parked in what we call the fleet. I didn't have the problem of going out in the street trying to find out, making sure people wasn't broken in my bus, because buses have been broken in too. So you have to be very, very cautious when you get on in the buses in the morning. They'll tell you that the supervisors usually knows about that before.
Now I understand there are some buses, majority of buses, when we're riding around, when the school year starts back in August and in September, and at the end of the year, that don't have air conditioning. Is that right?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So a lot of them don't have air conditioning.
Yes, I can vouch for that one.
Oh my goodness.
I have air.
But you have air. Why do you have air?
Because I drive for special need children now, and they have a lot of conditions that need to have air on there, and it's only required for the kids that have that needs it.
So let me ask you: have you all had coworkers, or have you ever encountered children who can't walk, have wheelchairs, etc.?
That's what I do.
You have. That's what you do. And so tell us, how do you get the kids on the bus?
Well, in the morning, when we have a wheelchair student, the parents is out there with them, and then sometimes you have a monitor with you, and sometimes you don't. I work by myself, and I don't need a monitor, but if I do need one, my boss will assign that to me. But in the meantime, I do it myself. I come out there, meet the mom or dad, the parents there, and load them back in there. I have the controls.
So you load them in.
Load them in, let them out. And then we have our safety straps that we have to lock the wheelchairs down. We can only take 2 wheelchairs at a time. That's it. There's limitation of only 2.
So now, Earnell, I also understand that you all meet parents sometimes at the bus stop.
Yes, we do.
And so out of the children that you have per day, because y'all have different loads. About what percentage of parents have you met?
I met just about all my parents, about 100%. Not every day, but generally, because I get in contact with them before I start actually running the route. I give them a special call to let them know that what time I'll be there, because I've already ran this route to know about what time I'll be there and to be looking out for me. Actually, I know there are some rules that they don't want us doing. But sometimes, as a general rule, we have to keep in touch with the park, because we're the only transition between you and the drivers, you and I.
So when you're talking to the parent, you're calling the parent. Is that on company time or your time?
That's my time. That's my phone.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I call them and tell them that I'll be there at a certain time. And actually, what I like to do, I don't know about Mr. Cooley, but I like to do a pre-run. Pre-run is actually going through the route before I actually go out there. That's when I can kind of gauge my time. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't do that. And sometimes my monitor goes with me. He doesn't have one, but I have one.
All right, so now let me ask you also, both of y'all are driving during rush hour.
Yes.
So how were you trained? Tell me, you look, I take half the sidewalk off. I can't hardly drive a big car. So how are you trained to drive a bus?
Trained to just take your time. You don't let no one force rush you. I do not. If you're in a bigger rush, you have to go around, and they can't even. You're not trying to be funny, but I try to keep up the pace of the traffic. But if they're in such a rush, go around me.
Now the schools, Mr. Cooley, we have elementary, high school, middle school. They're on different schedules. How do you work that out to get children? See, to me, this is like, it's like heart surgery to me. Well, how do you work that out to get every child picked up, accounted for, in school on time? And there are different schools. So how do you manage that?
Well, in Gwinnett County for us, my supervisor, and we have team leaders too, she works with. So they all get our schedules together. We have a protocol on a list, and we learn our routes. Like when school starts, we have to be back on the 26th of July. We'll start learning our routes before the students.
So that's what she was talking about, doing that rolling.
So we learn everything. We have that down pat. If we have to change anything, my supervisor listens to us, any change, our team leaders, and we change it and everything like that. Yeah.
Well, that's good. You want to say something about that?
Yeah, we do the same thing too. But we also have the register. They give us a
visa. We call it the visa. The route.
Not the route. It's the sheet that because I work with special needs too, and they tell you what's wrong with those. They don't tell you exactly what's wrong with those students.
So you can look out for the conditions.
You can look out for the conditions, and we keep a running log of all the name of the students who gets on there every day, and you have to check them off. So if I check them off, that means I pick them up. But if I don't check them off, and sometimes I don't get a chance to check them off because I don't see, my monitor does it. That's when my monitor comes in handy with me.
Well, now let me ask you all this. You all see parents.
Yes.
Yeah, we talk to, in my case, we always call our parents. Every time I get a new student, I have to call that mother, father, whoever. We have a list of all the numbers. We call grandparents are on there, aunts are on there. I call everybody till I get. I try to call mama first.
So you mean to tell me?
Yeah.
So we have that personal connection.
Since the kids are riding the buses, and that's most kids by law, because they 1 mile within the school or something. I think the bus, because when we came along, we had to walk. But I can see why we have buses. So you mean to tell me when we go to PTA meetings and we have y'all know where I'm going with this. We barely see. We hope we see 10% of those teachers. I mean those parents. But y'all see them at bus stops.
Yeah, we see them at bus stops. Not only at bus stop, they'll be calling you, baby. If they got a special something that they want to talk to you about, they'll meet you. It'll be early in the morning. It doesn't have to be in the afternoon. It'll be early in the morning. They want to get that across to you. So I say, yes, I will be here at certain times. I had one particular student that I had kind of problems with, which we kind of ended up between the two of us. That's why she called and apologized to me.
Well, since you said that, I want to add something. Both of you ought to comment about. Let's talk about the student challenges, because I taught school for many years, and children can be a handful, and teenagers can be more than that.
Yeah.
So tell us what you all do. Do you encounter any discipline problems at any time?
Well, in my case, my kids, they all got different issues, different challenges that they have, and then They ride pretty good with me because I'm bus manager and I control my bus. That's the main thing. You have to be in control of your bus. And I try to be there. And I have a relationship with my kids and everything. So they love riding with me. And then sometimes they have a meltdown, as they call it, and having a fit because mama didn't do this for them and they didn't do that. Whatever problem they may have had leaving the house, I try to keep home at home, bus on the bus, school in the school, bus on the bus.
So it's a different type of relationship.
So it's a
They can
different
talk
type
to you
of
all about different things.
Yes.
They can. Yeah, they do. And I had one particular student, I don't know how you felt, but I had one particular student I know your heart don't get into, but you can't help but love
You
those
can't help
children.
it. That's right.
You can't help but love those children. And I'm a mom, so I know about kids. And so he was to come. These particular children stayed in one room. There were 5 people who stayed in one of them stay night. And I had to run down one of these busy streets here in Atlanta, and had my bus stop right there for him to pick him up. And he would still in bed. So, one day I told my mom, I'm going to buy him something. But when he got dressed, and I bought it, he found it. And most of those type children, they get kicked. They really get suspended all the time. Mm-hmm. And they don't really need to be suspended. They need to be in house that we can make sure that we can take care of them. And then we had to give food to some of them. Some of the food that the school gathered.
So I understand that both of you have provided incentives for your students.
Yes.
So, Mr. Cooley, what kind of incentives did you provide and why?
Well, for my high school, I buy big boxes of assorted chips for them. I said, you keep this bus clean, because I sweep it twice a day. Mm-hmm. And here's a trash can right there. Y'all keep this bus clean. At the end of the month, I reward you. I have no problem. And my little ones, I didn't give them too much because they'd be allergic to peanuts and different things like that. I may give them some stickers from McDonald's. I go to McDonald's on 78 in Snellville, and they give me a bunch of stickers to give to my kids, and they love putting that on. So I put that sticker on them and reward them. You did great today. You helped clean up. Boom. And they help Mr. Cooley, there's something on the floor. I sweep it up, and they get it.
Oh,
we have a relationship.
Training.
They love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
At the end of the year, we have to clean our buses, scrub them down, boom, 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 and guarantee I'm going to get it back clean as good as I'm giving it to them.
Yeah.
Because over through the years, they do bus inspection, shop break, all the stuff. We write down what's wrong with the bus, and then they fix all that.
So now the incentives that we were talking a little earlier, and some of the snacks that you all provide. You were telling me about snacks.
Yeah, I do. Well, we got snacks. I got snacks, and we do reward just once a month, every week, especially those students that seem to have had really a significant problem. But sometimes they come down, and sometimes they go, especially guys, little young guys. That's the reason I was always trying to talk to them and giving them the best, giving them an output that they would love to hear. That's when I was telling you about this little guy his name was Walter, and I think he had a distinguished name. And I said, oh, you have such a distinguished name. You will be.
So you're a role model.
I want him to be one.
Your mama and daddy.
That's what we are.
And so do you get the same students sometimes the next year?
Yes.
So you form that kind of sometimes.
Yes.
Some of them you see more than one time. So let me ask you, who's paying for the snacks?
We are. Comes out of my pocket.
Come out of my pocket.
Yes.
Yeah, out of my pocket.
Okay, so it comes out of your pocket. Now let's talk about your compensation. Are you all on a salary or are you hourly? Hourly. So when does the clock start for you?
My clock starts at 6 o'clock. Mine starts at 6.
So do y'all clock in?
No.
You don't. But it starts when you you log in. And then after you take the students to school, when do you come off the clock?
When I get back to my location that I'm supposed to report.
And about what time of day is that?
About
9:30 for me.
9:30, 10 o'clock.
And then when do you go back on the clock?
I get back on the clock at 12 noon.
Well, I get back on about 1.
And so after you 12 noon or 1, when do you come off then?
That's my longest time. I don't get off till 6:30 in the evening.
Mine's about 5:15.
So you have a siesta or a break in the middle of the day where you're not paid?
Yes.
But you're giving your time. You're getting up early in the morning, 4 a.m. to prepare to get to where you're going by 6 or 6:15.
Yes.
And then you're paid for that, and you're fighting rush hour traffic, picking up precious cargo.
Yes.
Children, riding them in traffic.
Yes.
And you all have safety belts, I understand, because you're special needs, but most buses don't have those. After you do that, then in the middle of the day, you just left. And so, what's the top salary you can make in Dekalb? Do you know?
About $17 an hour, I think the top.
But how does that come out yearly for you? Let's say
For me,
gross.
It runs around $22,000 and
22,000. What about you, Craig?
I'm making 20 an hour, and then Gwinnett, the highest one they go to is $24.99, $25 an hour. I
And
think.
so per year, that looks like what? Or when you do
Don't
your
look
tax?
much.
Like 25,000, 26,000?
Yeah, about that.
But you're giving your life to, that's what you're doing with your lives.
Yes, indeed.
And then I do understand that, a lot of part-time people don't have, because you consider part-time,
Yes.
don't have benefits, but thank God we have benefits, but you're
Yes.
paying for the benefits.
yes.
Yes, we are.
So when insurance go up, yours go up. And if you
Yes.
have family members, you
Yes.
put them on there,
Yes.
that goes up. So you're making that sacrifice, and actually you're on a salary of poverty.
Yes, yes.
True.
You're on a salary
True.
of poverty. And so I do know that Gwinnett County gave a $2,000 across the board for everybody during
Yes,
CARES
they
Act,
did.
right?
Yes.
Did Gwinnett do it? I mean, that's Gwinnett. Did the DeKalb do anything?
No.
DeKalb has not done anything?
No, not at
Well,
all.
DeKalb got more money for the CARES Act, $500 million than any other school district, with one of the highest FTE counts. And we are asking DeKalb and challenging DeKalb to make everybody whole. So paraprofessionals, cooks, bus drivers, etc. Because if we didn't have them, if they go somewhere else, like start working at McDonald's or they have constant hours, we're going to lose them. So now, tell me some other things that you might do sometimes if you can get a job to make ends meet. Because do you have a family, Mr. Cooley?
Oh, yes, I have a family. I have a wife for 38 years. Put that in there. 38 years, and I have 5 grandchildren. And I take care, out of the 5, my daughter's 4 children, they live with us because she's on the road. She's a truck driver and everything. So her kids stay with us. They always been with us. But, and one of them is on my bus in the morning. She's with me in the morning. And I'm about to get 2 more starting in September. They're going to be riding with me. So they're with me in the morning, starting the whole day off, the whole works. Yes.
So what about you, Earnell?
Well,
Because your mom, I understand, just
she
died.
is,
You took care of her.
Yeah, I did. But to make my ends meet, because really one time I had to go to my supervisor and tell her, look, I'm not making any money here, and I need something else. So I get that extracurriculum activities that they pay for. They do pay pretty good for that, but that's 5 hours. That's not every day. That's like Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Sometimes it's 2 days a week.
Community skills.
But community skills.
Community skills for us.
But they call it we had to do it for high schoolers. High schools, we had to take them because they had to take them. I had to take them to different stores just to get them trained. Some of the kids, the skills is just, the cognitive skills are just not there. And they give them some jobs like shredding paper. They stay 4 or 5 hours, but we have to go pick them up. And by the time I get through picking them up, it's time to start my evening route.
Now, in Gwinnett, that's our Strive students that they go with the teacher to Walmart, Target, different stores, maybe school, East Medical in Snellville. We drop them off there in the morning if you have morning or afternoon. Sometimes you can do both morning and afternoon, or they may just give you afternoon or may just give you morning. But it all works out. So that's Strive students, and they end at age 21. So when they're turning midnight, they're going to 22.
It's over.
It's done.
So now let me ask you something else. Now you all are on strict time clocks. Usually, if a jet goes down, and look how many thousands, praise God, fly every day and don't go down. And look how many yellow school buses are on the road every day without accidents and without harming our children. I'm gonna start with you, Earnell. What would you do to improve anything on buses? You're on time, and I guess you all got big clocks that keep you alert in there that Oh, you don't have clocks?
No, we don't have clock.
So how do you keep up with the time?
I have my own individual clock, the own individual clock that I put in. I bought one to put in the bus.
Oh.
I bought it with myself because I wanted to make sure that I was on time. And a lot of times, because you're not on time, they want to penalize you. Not on time, and they're going to mark you. I don't know about how Gwinnett does, but when we're late for a route or we late getting to a school.
Mm-hmm. And you can't rely upon the satellite because you can't be talking on the phone.
No.
So you have to have a clock that
I have to have a clock that works.
And you bought that?
I bought that to myself.
So what would you do to improve anything in the lives of bus drivers? I want you to just give us a laundry list. What would you do to improve?
I would love to see them actually put that inside. The buses need to be built with clocks. They really do. You have a clock.
Anything else do you need to improve on a bus besides a clock?
Well, besides the clock, we need to have us for cleaning equipment. They want us to clean it, but you have to buy your own cleaning equipment.
Gotta be nice if you had somebody to clean it for you too.
Well, it would be nice, but I don't mind cleaning it myself if they give us the cleaning equipment. We have to buy the laundry.
Well, I mind. You may not mind. The reason why we mind is because we want your attention totally on those children on that driving, and I think that's what teachers have done too much. Teachers have been really taken for granted, and too many people who are in, we call it social services, are taken for granted because the agencies know they can. They know we love the children. They know that we love our work, and they have us picking cotton.
Yeah.
Or they're getting over on us, and that's not right. So you may not mind, but that don't mean that it can't be done another way. So I'm sorry, I cut you off.
That's okay. That's okay. Because I was just thinking another thing that they could do is make sure, because a lot of times if I go around and check my tires, I tell them I need to maybe check the tires, and we don't have the person. Well, I'm at a fleet, so my fleet person will come out and check my tire if I say something is wrong. I don't have to, because I do go under the bus. They put you in the bus. Yeah, you have to go under the bus in the morning time to see, because sometimes we are.
Hold it. You go under the bus?
Yeah, you have to. I should not actually might lay down and go under the bus, but you have to stoop
Look
down.
underneath at the wheels. They should know animals underneath there or anything, because you got critters in our parking lots, but that's another story.
Yeah,
parking lots are bad.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
So, Mr. Cooley, you tell me what you. I know you want to comment on this too, because I see you over there. Go ahead.
Well, you were talking about what to do improve. Like myself, I bought my own clock for my bus, and because we have a time we have to be at each. If I have to be at my first stop is at 6:55, I have to be there 6:55. Out in the beginning, I tell my parents to be there, be ready for me 5 to 10 minutes before I get there, and then when I leave in the afternoon, that grade school at 2:45, you need to be at home at 2:45, not playing around till I get there, because that holds us back. And then if that's the case, then we have to take them back to the school and stuff like that. But that's another situation. But having a clock, be nice if they would provide them, but we do that, or you have to hook your cell phone onto somewhere where you're watching a cell phone. We can't be on our cell phone, but that's a clock too for us and stuff like that. But for cleaning wise, Gwinnett supplies some cleaning solution, but the main thing, like window wash, we get it ourselves. They have it at our lots. A lot of the shops have their windshield wiper fluid, all that stuff. Cleaning fluid for your windows, Windex, all that stuff. We have that at our shops at Gwinnett. And plus, there's some things you want your bus to smell better. Some of the ladies I know, they'll buy a lot more stuff, and then I go get it too.
So now, see, we were talking about salaries a few minutes ago, and I was talking about how to improve. I jumped the subject. But now, with salaries come retirement one day.
Wow.
And so, Mr. Cooley, how many years did you work before they started including you on the state retirement system?
Well, you work a whole year in Gwinnett, and then they start you the year afterwards. I never did agree with that, but that's how they've been doing.
And that's a way of saving money for the school district.
Yes.
As much money as our districts have. Because we certainly pay contractors, consultants, and everybody. Y'all, we're going to talk one day about reading those budgets, and you'll see just how bloated and fat many of these districts are. Okay? Yeah. I know we need money, but money needs to be used properly. What about you?
No, I wasn't. I barely there with 2 years, so I hadn't kicked into the retirement. I had never I never, because I thought it was 5 years. I don't know about
Ours
then.
is 10 years.
It's 10.
10 years before you vested.
Yeah.
But it was so many years before they even start paying anything into your retirement. So the first year that you are employed, does any money go toward retirement into the stash for you?
No, not at all.
All right. So you just did a year of your life.
Yeah.
Yes, a year.
Free labor.
Really?
And it's not like it's the greatest retirement system in Georgia, because you retire for 30 years with 60% of the salaries, and of course that's taxed, and the benefits keep going up. So we are relegating we love the children, don't we?
Oh,
We just love the children.
kids.
We love them,
children.
and we love them so much until the people who work for the children are in poverty. Okay, I think we made that point. At least I made the point. I hope.
Yes, you
Oh, you
Okay,
did.
so now tell us, and I'm going to start with you, Earnell, as we close, anything that you would like for the public to know about your life as a bus driver, or your life period, how parents could appreciate you more, how the school district could appreciate you more, or what the starting salaries ought to be, because I'm going to give you one. You ought to be paid from 6 all the way to when your day stop.
My 6:30 for me.
All right,
PM.
so really you should, in my opinion, be paid for every hour, even if there's a break in between.
Yes.
I'm serious, because that's not your fault. I'm sorry. Go ahead now.
Yeah, because I agree with you there, because a lot of times they might call you, especially when we have other bus drivers that can't come back in. They're going to call you, could you come and do this for me? Or could you do an extra route for me? See, they don't consider that. They just think that you should do it. And sometimes I do it, and sometimes I wouldn't be able to, because I have other things planned. My mother was home, and I used to have to go home at 12, get there by 9, get through by 12, make sure she's fed, and before I hit the road again. Most time, that's what I did that every day when she was home, when she was alive. Anyway, they need to consider that. But people don't consider that. I shouldn't have to tell some people. I'll tell you about the time that I was in the bus, and I was waiting on this particular person. She was getting a child off the bus, and my superior, she called the supervisor. She didn't call, but she dispatched me and said that things wasn't right, but wasn't what she wanted to be, and she was just chewing me out. But we had a meeting the day before about one of the executives from the main board, and told us that we didn't need any distractions while we got there picking those children up. I didn't go in there telling her at that time. I waited till I had a good time and I had settled down, and I went in there and I told her. She received it, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I had to tell her, that's as a manager, you just don't do that. You just say, well, we can talk later, and then I'll talk to you later about it. And you went in there.
So you receive different edicts from perhaps people who are over you that sometimes understand, sometimes don't understand.
Yes.
Because they're not practical bus drivers.
But what's so good about her, she was a bus driver at one time.
At one time.
So she understood where I was coming from.
I'm going to throw this one in, Mr. Cooley. We saw the Gwinnett County Teacher of the Year. He was on YouTube talking about all the problems with teaching as to why he was stepping down. Okay? And he talked to folk who say they taught school. I remember one governor, my wife taught school. I said, where did she teach and how many years ago was that? Because things change.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so sometimes the further we get away from the main thing, which are the children and in the field, classroom, buses, cafeterias, the more royal we become and out of touch.
Yes.
And so when the Gwinnett County teacher said people need to put on plain suits and get in those schools and teach, I proposed that to some legislators about 20 years ago. I had no takers. And that's when everything at the state capitol, except 5 or 6 folk were Democrats. I had no takers. They don't want to do that. But then they can pass rules. But I'm glad that you were able to talk to this lady.
I was.
So anything else you just want to leave us with for about 30 seconds that we need to know?
I think the public need to know that they should be greatly appreciated, because another quick thing before we close this is that we have some people who will go to the bat. Their managers will go to bat for their drivers. There are some that will not. I didn't like this. There was a lady that was a parent that came up on the campus and threatened a bus driver. she had to get a restraining order against that parent.
So sometimes you have safety issues.
Yes, and it shouldn't.
We don't think about that.
No, but that lady said that she was gonna, and she could have shot her. She knew her route. And so that's why I think that people need to take it in consideration. We're human. She had to take a restraining.
And you're picking them up in the dark.
I
said,
we
never think about that kind of thing.
And she came to the school.
Okay, what about you, Mr. Cooley?
Oh, you know, like piggyback on what she said. Sometimes you have custody battles going on, and we have picked up kids and the father, and we just find out dispatch will radio me and saying the father is not allowed to pick up the child because mother has a court order. So father's right behind me. Well, okay, now who's gonna tell daddy nothing? So then a battle starts right there. Not so much with me, but other bus drivers. They have experiences, and it's sad because then we're in the middle of thing, and then we have to get on dispatch and call for 911. Come back and back us up and everything. So when I call 911, the cops come. My supervisor's on the way to that location where I'm at. I tell them where I'm at. So we have run into those problems. Parents. With this gun law going on, you have parents come up there, they can walk up there, not supposed to, they have a gun on their
oh my gosh.
Or a teenager could.
Yeah, a teenager could. So this gun law is ridiculous, and we're worried about our safety. We have bus drivers in Gwinnett that just got shot at a few weeks ago in Gwinnett, and so our life is on the line as a bus driver.
And usually you're starting early when it's dark and you're ending when it's dark.
I lock the gate in the evening.
So
because everybody's gone.
Okay.
I come in the morning, be a bunch of drivers, and then at the evening, I'm the last one.
So I want you to think about this. If it's one thing that the school system or a parent could do to make your life better and show that you are really appreciated, I don't care what wish list you get it from. Tell me, what would that be? I'm gonna start with you, Mr. Cooley.
A wish list. Well, I would like more safety for me and more understanding when I'm out there in a situation. And so it's always the parents first, got the right, but you need to understand my situation.
And cameras won't make you safe. They just tell what happened after the fact.
Exactly, and stuff like that. So I need to be safe. I need parents and our administration know my life is on the line now. We're in the 21st century. This is 2022, and we're getting shot at.
Might have to come up with a bullet shield. We don't know, the windows. And
yes,
I'm just saying.
And so we need that safety. And to me, and our teachers understand us, and the principals at our schools understand us so well, but it seems like our transportation is slacking to understand our needs.
Yes.
They talk it,
department.
but they're not acting on it.
You hear that, Mr. Superintendent?
Till something happens. But why should we wait till something happens? We need that protection, and my cell phone may be on the side, but they want to penalize me for having the cell phone right there. You can't get on it. Well, if I can't reach dispatch, I'm going to get on that
so
cell phone.
They want to penalize you for having, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. So that's only for emergency if you have to use it. Sometimes dispatch can't find us through the Zonar, not the Zonar, but the whatever the thing.
So it seems like you need a real good, not only listening session, but something done about the problems that you're running into about safety, the cell phones, and various things. And for the school district, because a lot of times they say, we heard you, but they don't do a darn thing about it. So we need some teeth into it, some follow up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
let's talk more.
Yeah, the same as his. I still say that the safety is one of the main issues that safety for the bus drivers, because we're part of the system.
That's
too.
Right.
We might be sitting up there, but like you said, we were the first somebody they see in the morning. We're going to be the last someone they see in the afternoon. And most of the time we go through training them too. And see, we're not thinking or recognized for that. They just say, we're a bus driver, you just go and do your job and we'll do it. But that's not the way it should be taken. We should, and my manager finally, I got her to understand. I'm telling you, it's the way you have to go in there and maybe
so you're almost invisible, and we have bad supervisors everywhere.
I know.
But the problem is that the district, period, needs to be a whole lot more empathetic. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we look at bus drivers as non-existent.
Yes, they
as
do.
if they are invisible.
Yeah, this part.
So now, this is just me now. My wish list is that every bus driver makes no less than $40,000 a year.
It's worth it.
Darn right it's worth it,
Yes.
because you got our precious cargo.
Oh, yes.
You hear that, parents? You hear that, public? Now, we know what driving is like, especially in metro Atlanta.
Yes.
So what parents can do to help bus drivers out, you all can greet them with, here's a Chick-fil-A card, here's a Visa card, here's a Publix card, here's a gasoline card, here's when is your birthday, blah, blah. There are different things we're asking the parents and school districts now. The parents can do it individually, greet and love these bus drivers all over. And we're asking school districts that have not used that CARES Act money, boost bus drivers right now with CARES Act money, no less than $2,000, no less, because that's going to be taxed, but no less. And love them in a tangible way. So with that said, we're going to continue this conversation. Hopefully people will comment. But we want to thank both of you for being here today.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us and letting the public know that's what we
Yes.
go through. We go through a lot of stuff. They just see it behind the scenes. They don't know what the thing that, because they don't know.
They have no- we don't.
They have
From the fights on the bus to relaxing,
Yes.
there's always some kind of dramas going on.
Always some kind of drama.
Always.
There's
Fights
always
and
drama.
etc.
Always.
Getting
There's
on that
fights on the
bus.
bus too.
Yes,
And you
it is.
driving.
And I'm
Yes,
driving.
I'm driving.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome,
Yeah,
and
thank
thank you
you.
for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.